Hey guys, today I'm gonna tell you a little story about how I went from doing only 6 pull-ups to doing 30 pull-ups. And the story began basically when I got sick one day and I started kind of wondering about like my life and death and things like that. And basically I decided that I wanted to make a bucket list. And on that bucket list, there were things like ride a bike, which I was already doing at that time. And one more thing was to beat my own personal record of pull-ups. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because actually when I was about 9 years old, I lost a contest, pull-up competition. And why I lost it, it was because it was at school, and I came to school first day after being sick, and they say, "Oh, by the way, today we have a competition, so why don't you go and try?" And so the first day after being sick, like I think it was flu or something like that, I could do only 19 pull-ups. So yeah, I could do quite many at that time already. So I did 19, and it was below my personal best, which I think at that time it was around 23, 22. And the worst part was this, that by doing 19, I actually lost the competition to a boy, also same age as me, who could do 21. So basically, I didn't perform at my best, and that's why I lost the contest. And this loss kind of haunted me for the rest of my, it haunted me until I decided to beat that record. Because I really felt that if I die without beating that record, I would feel terrible. And so I decided to do that. And I employed 3 strategies to do that, to go from 6 to 30. Strategy number 1 was to make it simple. So basically, I didn't practice anything apart from pull-ups. And I bought a set of gymnastic rings, and I put them on the balcony. Well, basically, I just had access to them like 24/7, unless I was working, of course. And so at home, I could do the pull-ups anytime I wanted. It took me like, I don't know, 5 seconds to go get to the rings. So that was the first part. It was simple and accessible. So I didn't have to go to gym. I didn't have to prepare to do anything. Just go and do pull-ups, practice. So that was number 1. My strategy number 2 was anchoring. Basically, it meant that I would set certain times when I would definitely do pull-ups. So I could do more if I felt like it, but I had like mandatory times which were anchored, attached to something that I already did. For example, I used to eat breakfast. So before breakfast, I would go and do pull-ups. And so I would do, I think, 1 set to the max. So like gradually it went up, the number. So at first it was 6, then 7, then 8, and 9, and so on. So because I did that, I didn't have to think about doing or not doing. I didn't have to make a choice. Oh, do I want to do pull-ups now? No, it's like, it's right there, and it's breakfast time. So go and do the freaking pull-ups, and then you go eat. So anchoring helped me to kind of definitely ensure basically that I will do it. I would do at least 2 sets per day. It's morning and afternoon, not afternoon, dinner. So before breakfast, before dinner. Sometimes I would do it also before leaving for work. So that's one more thing. Like I would leave for work every weekday. So why not do 1 more set before you go? Because you will not have a chance to do that while you're at work. So do it before you leave. And 1 more last kind of like very touchy-feely strategy that I employed was not to set any certain goals. So this was kind of like difficult to do because I wanted to beat my record, so I kind of knew that I have this kind of goal in mind, but I didn't set out to like, I need to beat this goal no matter what. I was just basically celebrating every time I could do one more rep. So I started at 6, then quite quickly I could increase it to 10. I mean, that's great. And so the way I approached it, I wasn't thinking about, okay, I want to get to number one, get to 21. I was just doing, okay, today I did 10, this is awesome. Can I do 11? So every time my next goal was +1. And so as you can imagine, the time before reaching goal was, I don't know, like 2 weeks maybe, or even less. And so basically I could celebrate many, many times before I reached my final goal of 21. And so because I could celebrate more, it actually kept my motivation, I think would be the best word. It kept my motivation up. So those 3 things helped me do that. Number 1, keep the motivation by just setting the goal to do 1 more rep. So simple, right? Like, you know that you can. If you did 6 and now you can do 7, you know that you can do 8. And so 8 will be your next goal. So you're like, okay, I have a little left to achieve that. So you celebrate, you feel great every time because you increased your max. Then next step, of course, was the my simplicity of the accessibility of the exercise. I could do it anytime I was at home. And the third one was anchoring. Basically, I would do it every day no matter what, because I need to eat my breakfast. So before breakfast, I would do a set of pull-ups. And so because of that, I could, like, if you think about the total numbers, like it would be in thousands or hundreds and thousands of pull-ups I did in the like half a year. And so of course in the half a year I went from 6 to my goal of 21. Then I beat the goal quite soon. Then I went to 23, which was my personal best. Like, I could never do more than 23. So, and then what happened was this. I was facing a choice. Do I keep going? Because, well, my goal is achieved. Like, what what are you supposed to do next? But because this process was so simple, so easy, so fun, I didn't stop. And then I kept going and going. And then half a year later, I think it was half a year later, I got to 30, which, like, if you think about it, from 6 to 30 pull-ups, that's already quite a high number. And I didn't realize that it's actually a big number because every time it was just +1, +1, +1, +1. And so, you don't feel like you're really breaking any barriers. You don't feel like any huge achievement, but every time you feel like, yay, +1, awesome. And then one day I went to a website, and I actually wanted to know what is the regular number of pull-ups. And so I went to the website, and they were talking about pull-ups and like what is average number of pull-ups that different categories of people can do. So because, for example, like average person will not do many pull-ups, but let's say in the army, in the military, they train for that, and for them the numbers are quite high. And so it turned out that that blog post had also a survey, and the visitors could not rank, they could basically answer how many pull-ups they could do. And it turned out that among like 1,000 or over 1,000 people who left their honest feedback about how many they could do, I was the only one who could do over 30. So I didn't realize it, but kind of effortlessly, mental effort was basically zero, because I got used to doing it. I reached the like superhuman level of doing pull-ups. So if you want to do the same, I recommend using those 3 strategies. And that's it for today, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.